Hello and welcome back to another podcast and video from Fantasy Football Scout on Euro 2024. My name is Ed. You can follow me on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, @_FantasyEd. And what are we doing today? Well, you can see straight away off the bat that my rank down in this corner, I think, is not looking great. 643k. I am hoping the knockouts are going to be my salvation. I am hoping this wildcard that I'm going to play, that's of course forced upon us, is going to be something that really rockets me up the leagues. I think if you've watched my videos, you'd agree. I haven't made crazy decisions. It's just all these big players have not gone well, and all my 50-50s have not gone very well either. So this is the position I'm stuck in. So look, what are we doing today? We are going to be looking at the draw. We're going to be looking at who we need to be targeting and how you're going to navigate your way through this last 16, depending on whether you have a wild card left or whether you do not have a wildcard left, like me. We're also going to be talking to Gianni about a FANTEAM mega tournament that they're running for the last 16. It's a one-off free hit. Pick your 11 players to play in the round of 16. And it's a £2 tournament. And actually, quite a lot of you, if you've already entered a FANTEAM tournament this summer, might have a free ticket in your account. So do go and check. But if not, it's £2 entry, 625 quid minimum to the top to the winner, and a £5,000 prize pool. So we're going to hear about that. We're going to see who Gianni has picked. But other than that, we are going to be looking at my first draft. Not first draft, sorry. My draft or my team selection for the wild card. And I've actually gone quadruple defense on a team. So I really have reached that level of sort of insanity with this game where I'm just going to have to absolutely go for it to try and get up these ranks. You've got to remember, this game is only 7 match days long. We've already played 3, so there's only 4 left. We're nearly halfway. And the draw has fallen pretty favourably, hasn't it? I mean, as you can see, I'm an England fan. Where's the badge? There we go, if you're watching on YouTube. And the draw has opened up for us, it seems. So really, really excited to get a team. You could probably guess who I've gone quadruple defense on. But also, it's key, isn't it, that we've got to be able to pick the right teams to back, thinking about who they're then going to play in the quarterfinal. Because you don't want to progress through the tournament with 4, let's say, Portuguese players who have got Slovenia in the round of 16. You'd think, right, 4 Portuguese players, let's load up. But their next game is going to be against Belgium or France. And if they get knocked out, you've got 4 things to fill. And you only get 3 transfers between the last 16 and the quarters, and only 4 transfers then from the quarters to the semis, and then 5 between the semis and the final. So you've got to be able to navigate. It's like a game of chess. So I'm going to do my best to help you through that. Without further ado, I'm waffling. Let's get going. Before we get going, I just want to talk about an amazing offer we've got at Fantasy Football Scout at the moment. 40% off. This deal is ending 1st of July, and you get a year's access to our premium members area, our premium members data. You can get everything you need for Euro 2024 Fantasy. We've got Opta Data streaming in there from the friendlies, from the qualifiers, and from the tournament. So you can make customizable tables, you can look at XG, you can see who's due a goal, that sort of thing. But also, if you pay £39 for this year, you will also get the premium members area and all that data for the FPL season for 2024-2025, which is going to be with us before we know it. It's going to be coming around the corner, isn't it? So why not lock that in now? Again, this deal is 40% off. You get all sorts, full player and team up to data, as I said, expert team reveals and strategy, exclusive data analysis articles, updated team lineups and set piece takers, sortable fixture difficulty ticker, £500 cash prize for the mini league, for premium members mini league, and of course 40% off to get everything sorted for the next year in terms of fantasy football. Why not only listen to the experts? I do not put myself in that category, by the way. I'm just more of a sort of information conveyor. But why not just listen to the experts, but be an expert yourself by signing up at www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Do it before the 1st of July. Get it locked in, and you don't have to think about where you're going to be getting your data for the next year because it'll be sorted. Yeah, it's okay, you've probably seen it by now, but this is the round of 16 draw finalised now. I know I made a video a couple of days ago where I was working off the basis with my draft. I was working off a projected round of 16, and obviously that changed quite a lot, quite drastically actually, because Georgia beating Portugal was not expected, and Georgia qualifying, winning that game 2-0 in brilliant style against a Portugal team has changed the round of 16 draft quite a bit. But let me just read it out for those people who are listening on audio podcast. So on the left hand side of the draw, you've got Spain versus Georgia, Germany versus Denmark, Portugal versus Slovenia, and France versus Belgium, which is a good game for the round of 16, isn't it? France-Belgium. On the right-hand side of the draw, you've got Romania, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey, England, Slovakia, and Switzerland, Italy. Now, immediately, as an England fan, I know not all of you watching will be England fans, but you've got to admit, the draw has been kind to England, with Spain, Germany, Portugal, France and Belgium all on the other side of the draw. So we can't play any of those teams until the final. So they're going to have to knock each other out. And more importantly, we're going to have to try and get to the final, because we've still got very tricky teams. I mean, Slovakia are not going to be a walkover, like some people are suggesting, I don't think. England have been woeful this tournament so far, haven't they? So lackluster. Can we score against Slovakia? It's going to be a boring 0-0, that sort of thing. We need to turn it on, don't we? We really need to click into gear against Slovakia. But then the winner of that is going to have a pretty tricky quarter-final, because Italy, Switzerland, I mean, Italy haven't been amazing this tournament yet. Switzerland haven't been amazing. But you could imagine them both turning on, particularly Italy. You could imagine them sort of suddenly clicking into gear, beating Switzerland, and then that quarter-final being really tricky for England. England against Italy. We haven't got a great record, have we, against Italy in major tournaments? Some bad memories there, definitely. Think about the final of the last one of these. So yeah, that could be really tricky. But we win that, and then if we do win that, then we're through to the semi-final, which could be any of Romania, Netherlands, Austria, and Turkey. I think probably the sort of favourites for us to end up playing if we did get through to the semi-final. Again, that's a big if, but if we did, you'd think so far, I mean, Holland obviously have got great players, but Austria have been really good as well. Turkey haven't been bad. Romania haven't been bad. All four of those are pretty decent teams, so it's a bit unpredictable, that side of the draw. But anyway, the draw has been kind. But we're not here just to talk about football, are we? We're here to talk about who we need to be picking then in terms of fantasy players. Now, the answer to that question will differ based on whether you have your wildcard left. Quite a lot of people, weren't they? We've talked about this a lot. Were playing their Limitless Matchday 3 and keeping their wildcard for the quarterfinals, which essentially makes this round of 16 a free hit for those people. Of course, we've got this enforced wildcard, so we can make as many transfers as we want before the round of 16 here. We can make as many transfers as we want and get any team that we want within £105 million. We can now pick up to 4 players per team. But for those with that wildcard, ready to play it for the quarterfinals, they don't need to worry about teams potentially going out and therefore having kind of forced upon transfers for the next round. Remember, there's only 3 transfers between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So you can go wild. If you've got a wildcard, you can go wild and you can pick, 4 Spain, 4 Germany, 4 Portugal, 4 England or something. You can just do what you want and not worry if it quite goes wrong. Your tournament, you're still going to be able to play your wild card. Say you went 4 Spain, 4 Germany, 4 Portugal, 4 England, whatever, 4 Netherlands, whoever, and then all those teams got knocked out. In some freak sort of round of 16, they all got knocked out. For those without a wild card, you're basically, your tournament's over because you only got 3 free transfers and you're not going to be able to cobble a team together. But, of course, if you've got a wild card, you can play that and get yourself out of jail. So get yourself out of jail free card, isn't it? But let's first of all talk about if you've got that wild card, what are you going to do? Now, I've actually seen someone, FPL Praz, who's been on our stream, this, in fact, for the Euros, and he obviously does a lot of FPL content. I'm just going to find his tweet now, because I think he's still got his wild card. I think that's what he was doing. And he tweeted earlier, he said, if you have a wild card left, then 4 times Spain, 4 times Portugal, 3 times England, 3 times Germany, and Mbappe. Enjoy. So that's clearly what he thinks, right? Just back these teams. Portugal, obviously, are the interesting one, because if you've got a wild card, you can get 4 Portugal, because they're playing Slovenia. And even though Portugal in that last Matchday 3 game weren't convincing, I mean, they lost 2-0 to Georgia, they were kind of playing their rotated team. Ronaldo still doesn't look to have clicked into gear, but they are still huge favourites to win that round of 16 game against Slovenia. So if you've got a wild card, get 4 Portugal, hope they beat them, and then you can wildcard, which is important because the winner of Portugal-Slovenia is going to play the winner of France and Belgium. And then suddenly that's a really tricky fixture that's much harder to call. You'd expect on form so far, and general form, I guess, France to beat Belgium in the round of 16. Belgium have not clicked into gear. In fact, I was saying on the stream with Sam the other day, I think Belgium are the only other team to have qualified from the group, but their fans are still booing them, other than England, because England have had that. I mean, Gareth Southgate had some cups thrown at him the other day, which is a bit far, I think. But, I don't know whether you saw the scenes of Belgium qualifying, with a I think, was it 0-0 draw, going up to the fans, to kind of applaud them as they left, and the fans just all booing them, and Kevin De Bruyne kind of going, sack this, and taking the team off not to clap them, which I think is probably fair enough. I mean, it's a bit of an odd picture, isn't it, with 20,000 fans booing you while you're standing there on the field clapping. I mean, that's just bizarre. So that's that. There's one kind of bracket of fixtures that it's going to change what you do depending on whether you've got a wild card. If you've got a wild card, you're probably going to go heavy on Portugal because it doesn't matter that they've got a hard game next. You can play your wild card. If you haven't got a wild card, you might not go for Portugal. You might just go for 2 Portugal, something like that. Another area to look at is, for example, if you've got, again, the wild card, you can go massive on Spain, get 4 Spain players, they're playing Georgia, and you don't have to worry that they're probably going to end up playing Germany, the hosts, in the next round, because again, you've got the wild card. If you don't have a wild card, maybe you're only going to go for 2 Spain or 3 Spain, and then hopefully use one of the, be ready to use a transfer to maybe dilute your Spain sort of, your buy into Spain. It is really on the left-hand side of the draw the problems come. Even Germany as well. They're going to play Denmark. Again, Germany will be the favourites as hosts, and they're Germany. Denmark, though, could pose some problems, couldn't they? But if Germany get through, you're probably going to play Spain. Again, that's a really tough fixture. So the quarterfinals on that left-hand side of the draw, the most likely quarterfinals, of course, and, anything can happen, but the most likely ones, Spain, Germany, and Portugal versus France. 2 massive games, harder games to call. So you got to keep that in mind when you're picking your team. Whereas on the right-hand side of the draw, obviously, it's a bit different. The most probable quarterfinals are England, Italy, and I'm just basing this on probably on bookies' odds. I imagine this will be the case, but England, Italy, and Netherlands versus Austria. Again, Netherlands, Austria, who do you back there? Netherlands haven't looked great. Austria have actually looked pretty good, so maybe you get 2 of each when you get to that stage. Maybe you want 2 of each or something. England, Italy, who do you back? I mean, no idea. Neither of those teams have looked great so far, have they? I can imagine a 0-0. They've both been pretty defensive. So maybe just get England defenders, Italy defenders. I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, the issue I'm highlighting, I suppose, is look. You've got to think about this differently, whether you've got a chip or not. You've got to be in a position, if you don't have a chip, to get through the round of 16, and then hopefully maximum 3 of your players have gone out, and you can replace them with these free transfers. You don't want to be taking hits. I guess worst case is more than 3 go out, but you can still field an 11. You're just not going to be able to have a big enough, a full bench to rotate from. But, at that point, your tournament is still intact. It's just hanging by a thread. If you get to the point where 4 players go out, so you haven't got a bench, and an extra one, 5, and you can only field 10, you get 3 free transfers. So how many people would have to go out for you to not be able to field 11 players? It would be, you get a total of 15. You're going to get 3 subs. It makes it 18. So you'd have to have 8 players go out. So, if you went triple Spain, triple Germany, triple Portugal, triple Netherlands or something, and they all went out, you're stuffed. Okay. So you've got to keep it in mind. It should be okay because, if you go with the odds, it is usually the case that the big teams go through. It would be a huge surprise if Georgia beats Spain, because Spain have actually been very good. They haven't even conceded a goal yet, right? It would be a huge surprise if Denmark knocked out Germany, the hosts. It would be a huge surprise if Slovenia beat Portugal. I suppose France versus Belgium is the only one where you'd go, okay, if Belgium suddenly turned it on and France went out. France went out of the round of 16 in the last Euros, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember to who, but I'm pretty sure they did. So, shocks have happened. You've just got to be ready to pivot and things like that when that happens, and be ready to, I don't know, make sure that you're covered. You hedge your bets in this round of 16. Now, we're going to take a quick break and talk about a really amazing competition that FANTEAM are running for the round of 16. They're doing a monster tournament, £2 entry. Some of you, if you entered one of the FANTEAM things I talked about earlier on in the season, are going to have a free ticket as well. But let's take a quick break and we'll talk to Gianni about that. Yes, hello, I'm here with Gianni Battici, and we're going to quickly talk about the FANTEAM monster game that's happening in the last 16, the round of 16. There's a £5,000 prize pool. It's £2 to enter. And if you entered our other competition, by the way, you may well have a free ticket for this in your FANTEAM account. So make sure you do that. £625 is going to first. It's starting June 29th, the start of the round of 16. Gianni, this is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I love a monster. I've played monsters in Champions Leagues, in Premier League. Yeah, it's loads of fun. if you play FPL, we all love a free hit, don't we? That one guilt-free week where you just chase upside. I mean, look, Ed, you sometimes play your fantasy games in this way anyway, week by
Yeah,
week. But most
true.
of us plan ahead and we're reserved and we make our transfer and that's it. You can rip up your team with a monster. You don't have a team. You just go big on your squad for that week, guilt-free. And you chase upside, which is what many will be doing when they play this game. And the last 16 fixtures allow you to chase upside because there's a good balance of the kind of big team versus little team. Sorry, Georgia, but Spain would be seen as a team that can go big against you. And then there's the big ones like, oh, France, Belgium, two very good teams with very good players. So do you avoid them or do you still chase and hope it's a high scoring affair?
Yeah, and Portugal, Slovenia is going to be another one, isn't
Yeah.
it?
England, Slovakia.
Yeah, England, Slovakia. Yeah, no,
Austria,
I
I
mean,
think
there's
Austria Turkey is a good matchup for Austria. They've been amazing, and Turkey have been poor, like struggled against Temencek. Netherlands Romania is a good matchup. So yeah, there's loads. The tight games, I guess, are Italy, Switzerland, Belgium, France.
well. Let's bring up your wildcard team for the Monster tournament. I can see immediately. Well, I'll read it in a second, but I can see immediately three Spain players are glaring out at me, which makes sense, doesn't it? But your keepers are Pickford and Pence. Your defenders are Cancelo, Carvajal. Actually, with FANTEAM, we need to do the actual starting 11, don't you? So in goal, Pickford. In defence, Cancelo,
Yep.
Carvajal and Guehi. In midfield, Sabitzer, Chiesa, Yamal and Musiala. And up front, Depay, Morata and Kane, targeting those big fixtures, right? So talk us through it. You got three England. Are you still trusting England? I've kind of lost trust with them.
Oh. A maximum of one England attacker for me, whether that's a mid or a forward. But you do go double defence, maybe even consider triple defence. Because one thing we know about Gareth Southgate in this England team, and we've seen it in past Euros and World Cups, he will keep clean sheets. I can't see Slovakia scoring. Like it's gonna be a 1-0 England win, isn't it? So Pickford and Gay here in. I have gone Kane. There is a temptation to swap Kane to a Ronaldo or swap Kane to an Mbappe, but I guess I'm just chasing the fixture. It is worth noting Ronaldo also has a good fixture. So I'm a bit wary on that spot, and it could be a last minute change. I am set on double England defence, and on many of these players, I'm set. I wouldn't say I'm 100% set yet on Harry Kane, who is, of course, expensive too.
Yeah, and I can see triple Spain. I mean, obviously Spain have got Georgia. Georgia did beat
Yeah.
Portugal 2-0, didn't they? But we still got to go for Spain, haven't we?
You have. You have. And look, Portugal in match day 3 were a very different team to what we saw in match day 1 and 2, taking nothing away from Georgia. But again, they were qualified. It was a different type of football match. And again, Spain, what I love about Spain is loads of these players have had a rest. Morata, Yamal, and Carvajal, my three Spanish players, all didn't play in match day 3. They had a nice little break. I think that could bode quite well. So Spain in match day 1 and 2 looked amazing. It will be the same 11 that returns. I'm expecting a big, big performance against Georgia. And I think Morata will be seen as a huge, huge differential because so many will just remember Morata as a guy that can't finish. Well, he might be rubbish at finishing, but he'll get chances. I might even captain Morata, Ed. He doesn't get 90 minutes. That's the only issue. Yamal as well. Nico Williams is a good shout. That front three is so exciting. They're going to score goals against Georgia.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? I quite like your front line, actually, because the Mbappes, the Lukakus, the Ronaldos have let us down all tournament.
Yeah.
You've gone Kane, but then you've gone Depay and Morata. Depay obviously scored in the third game of the group, and they've got Romania, who have looked good, but you would expect Netherlands to beat them. So, yeah, only one Italy player, Gianni.
Yeah, no Italian defence. Look, if you're going to pick one Italy player, probably smart move is to go for Donnarumma or a defender. But I'm just chasing here, I guess, a little bit of heart overhead. And when I'm watching that football match, I want in my fan team an Italian attacker. And Chiesa is the obvious candidate. It's also been a huge frustration of mine that I've not been able to pick Chiesa as a midfielder in the other game I've been playing this summer, in the
And
in the
Yamal.
UEFA game. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Rafael is another example of that. These guys should be mids, and Chiesa as a mid in fan team, I'm gonna make the most of that. And I just think Chiesa could be his match. He was so annoyed that he was benched. He came off the bench and looked so bright against Croatia. I fancy him against Switzerland. If Italy do score a goal or two, I expect him to be involved. So again, a bit like when you're playing a monster, a bit like when you're playing a free hit, you need a couple of differentials to stand out from the crowd. If you're going to win this thing, you need a fair few differentials. No one's going to have Chiesa. No one's going to have Morata. Very few will have the pie. I've purposely gone a little bit differential with this because I'm in it to win it.
There we go. Well, look, if you want to get involved, the link will be in the description below. You can go to FANTEAM's website. Again, do check anyway because you might have a free ticket. But if you haven't, it's a £2 entry. You can enter as many teams as you want to try and win. Minimum £625 for first, a £5,000 guaranteed prize pool. Make sure you pick your team. You can copy Gianni if you want. As usual, as ever, please do gamble. It's 18 plus, and please do gamble responsibly. Thank you, Gianni. See you again.
Yeah, and see you soon, mate. Enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Okay, so here we are. Welcome back. Here is my team that I'm currently on. Now, you know, bear in mind, this will change. I'm tinkering, all sorts of things. But this is, now I know the fixtures. Now I know the dates. This is the team I'm settled on. Now, first of all, let's start with looking just at the dates. So, in fact, let me read it for you audio podcast listeners. So, my keepers are Pickford and Verbruggen. So England and Netherlands. My defenders are Carvajal of Spain, Walker, Stones and Guehi. All three England, all three of them England defenders, obviously. And Cancelo. Midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Ruiz, Musiala and Xavi Simons. And Baumgartner. And then, again, don't think that's how you pronounce it, but anyway. And then up front, Morata, Mbappe and Havertz. So, you know, suddenly I've kind of changed my tactics a little bit here in terms of there's no Lukaku, there's no Ronaldo, there's no Kane. They've all let me down massively. Still got Mbappe, that big, he might change, but let me talk you through it. So let's look at the dates. So I've got playing on, it's the first thing to look at, isn't it? Remember, in this game, you want to make sure you've got players playing on every day, so you've got a captaincy option each day. So on the 29th, I've only got 2 players playing, which is Havertz and Musiala for Germany against Denmark. I think Germany are going to go through, so I'm happy to have 2 players. They are probably going to face Spain in the round after, which they'd probably be favourites for, would they? I know Spain have been great, but pre-tournament, Germany were higher up the list of favourites than Spain, and they've been good, and they are the hosts, so I guess they'd be the favourites. But anyway, I've got 2 Germany, and I'm kind of happy with that. It gives me 2 captaincy options on the first day. I can go Havertz or I can go Musiala. I'll probably go Musiala. I know it's on Havertz at the moment. I'll just flick between those two. So at the moment, that's absolutely fine. And in terms of the matches, let's just actually have a look at the matches. Let me bring this up if I can make this work, which I think I can. Yeah, if I click that and then just get the screen better like that. Yeah, so here's the matches. So on that first day, the other game happening that I don't have any players from is Switzerland versus Italy. Now, maybe that's an error because that's a team we're going to see. It's the 5 o'clock kickoff on that first day, and the deadline will be at 5. So Switzerland, Italy, we will see the lineups. It might be the case that I'll bring in an Italy player, maybe, you know, a DeMarco or someone like that. I know he hasn't done anything yet, but we know the potential he's got to go big. We've seen it in Serie A, we've seen it for Italy in the past. So I think potentially that's somewhere where I'll make a change, is that I'll bring in an Italy player and hope that they go through, right? Now, the thing to remember with Italy is if they win, and if England win, Italy will be playing England. And currently I've got 4 English defenders, including the keeper, you know, three defenders and a keeper, which I'll talk about in a minute. So is it wise to do that if we might have Italy? Because will Italy score against us? They very well could. But, you know, you've got to have that balance, haven't you, of thinking about the round of 16, but also just keeping a little eye on the next round. But anyway, so that first game is Switzerland-Italy. That's the game we're going to see the teams for. And then Germany-Denmark is where I've got those 2 players, and my captaincy option rests on that. Can Denmark cause Germany problems? Well, I actually think yes. I actually think Denmark might score, which is why I've got no Germany defenders. I went triple German defence in matchday 3, along with triple French defence, and they both let me down. So I'm kind of scarred a little bit, so maybe it's my own problem, but I'm not going to have a Mittelstadt. I'm not going to have any German defenders, because I just think that Denmark might score. I could see Eriksen scoring a penalty, or I could just see them scoring. Right, they're a decent side. They scored against England. I know that was like a fluke 25-yard like pot shot that is 1 in 100 and it went in. But I can just see Denmark scoring. So that's why I'm not got any defenders. So that first day, Germany Denmark, I'm going to have 2 players. As we move on, let's just keep looking at the fixtures. In fact, so on the Sunday, the options are England, Slovakia, and Spain, Georgia. Now, this is going to be a big day in this round of 16 because a lot of people are going to have English players. A lot of people are going to have Spain players, particularly when they play Georgia. I know Georgia just beat Portugal 2-0, but you know that was a rotated Portuguese side, and Spain have been better than Portugal in this tournament so far, significantly better, right? Spain haven't even conceded a goal yet. So There's a part of me that's thinking, should I get double Spain defence? You know, Unai Simon and Carvajal or something. But then again, I did do that at one point in when I was tinkering and realised, I've got Pickford and Unai Simon, the keepers play on the same day. Those would be my two favourite keepers, but I can't have both. So at the moment, I'm on Pickford. Now, look, this is going to be a big day for Fantasy, as I said. Who you're going to captain on this day? If you've got Kane, are you going to captain him? If you've got Bellingham, are you going to captain him? If you've got Ruiz for Spain, or a Carvajal, or a Yamal, or a Nico Williams, you know, is it a day to captain a Spain player and hope they go big against Georgia? So that's the Sunday. They're the Sunday options. Then the Monday. This is a day where I think there's going to be, quite a few people, particularly if you don't have a wild card, are going to kind of maybe avoid this day a little bit, because you've got France-Belgium. I mean, who'd you go for there? I've currently got Mbappe, and that's it from that game. I can see France beating Belgium. Belgium haven't been great. France, we know what they can do. And France are the sort of team you can see going to the final. I can't see Belgium getting to the final with their current form. So do you just get Mbappe now because you know you're going to have to get him at some point because he's going to stay in the tournament? That's kind of how I've thought about it at the moment. So currently I've got Mbappe. And if, France can batter Belgium, you could see France beating Belgium 3-0 with a Mbappe hat-trick, couldn't you? Of course you could. I couldn't really see Belgium beating France 3-0. France have been pretty solid at the back. Lukaku can't hit a barn door at the moment. He's missing chance after chance after chance. So, yeah, France are the team. If you are going to back a team, I think it's France. But you don't want to back them too much because Belgium could score, Belgium could cause them problems, and also the winner of this is going to have to probably play Portugal, who can, of course, cause anyone problems on their day. They haven't been great yet, but they can cause problems. So that's the first game of that Monday, and the second game is indeed, as I said, Portugal-Slovenia. So, this is one of the most, in terms of the odds, one of the the fixtures that are predicted 85% chance or something of Portugal winning, or going through rather. So this is the game that I was talking about earlier, where you want to really back it, but you've got to keep in mind that they're going to play the winner of France-Belgium in the next round. And if you don't have a wild card to clean it up, then, what do you do? So I think you just saw, I think I've got two Portuguese players at the moment. I've got Bruno Fernandes and I've got Cancelo. I would quite like Ronaldo, but he just hasn't done anything yet. He just doesn't look like he's sort of it's not like he's missing loads of chances, it just doesn't seem to be getting many chances. So the way they're playing at the moment just doesn't seem to be suiting Ronaldo, right? I know he's got an assist in this tournament so far, but no goals. So yeah, but it's Ronaldo though, and it's against Slovenia. I know he played against Georgia the other day, but that was with a team of kind of reserves for Portugal, so it didn't kind of click. With their first team back here, is this a sort of game where you go, right, they're going to click into gear, they're suddenly going to make a statement and Ronaldo gets a hat-trick or something? I don't know. So Ronaldo's in my mind. But then again, if I went Cancelo, Fernandes and Ronaldo, and then, I keep them, they kind of progress, and then in the quarterfinals, I've got three key Portuguese players, yes, but against France, I mean, do I want that? Tricky, right? These are the things we need to be thinking about. Captaincy on that day, for me, I've only got two options on that day, which is currently three options actually. I've got Mbappe, haven't I? But against Belgium, I mean, Mbappe's done nothing yet, pretty much. I know he's scored one goal, hasn't he? And then Portugal, Bruno and Cancelo. I'd probably on the Monday captain probably Bruno Fernandes. I'd like to captain Cancelo if it was earlier on in the week, but if I get to this point with the captaincy, which I probably will, based on so far this tournament, I've hardly hit any captaincies because I've always gone for these premium guys and no one's done anything. So probably Bruno. And then on the Tuesday, the last day of the round of 16 fixtures, Tuesday the 2nd of July, it's Romania, Netherlands, and Austria, Turkey. Now, again, we need to be thinking, okay, this is the last day of the match day, so anyone we bring on at this point for this day is going to have to stay there, whether they get 1 point or 10 points. So you don't want too many players coming on the last day. Just that's a general rule for this sort of game. However, you could probably, Romania have been great, but you would expect the Netherlands to go through here. I think. I mean, they haven't been great, have they? But maybe a Xavi Simons, maybe a Depay. He scored in match day 3, didn't he? Maybe a defender, Ake, or he's got 2 assists in one game this time, hasn't he? Dumfries, I know, hasn't done anything yet, but he always can. If we get rumours that Frimpong is going to start on the right wing again, although I picked him for match day 3 and he didn't play, so that was annoying. Then maybe we go with him. There's options there. There's options. And also, the thing about picking Netherlands players that's quite good is that if they go through, their next round as well, you'd probably put them just about favourites if they play Austria or Turkey. Probably Austria, because Austria have looked really good. I've got Baumgartner for Austria currently, and I've, again, Sorry to the Bumgarner family. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it. And then the Netherlands, I've got... Who have I got from the Netherlands? I can't actually remember. I did have Xavi Simons at one point. In fact, let's get my team back up on here. Let's have a look. I've got Xavi Simons on the bench, ready to come on. That's it. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, so those are the fixtures. Who am I going to captain on that day? Remember, you've got to have someone from this day in case your captaincy lasts all the way to there and you're going to want to captain someone. That's why I think I've got Xavi Simons and I've got Bumgarner, just to give me 2 options on that day, if I haven't hit a captain, to at least captain someone. Again, as I said, backing... It's annoying that Netherlands and Austria are at the end of the week. That's all I'll say. It's annoying because... you're in a situation where you think, well, hang on, I want to back Holland and I want Netherlands and I want to back Austria because their next game you could see them winning as well. You could see both of them getting to the semi-finals. There's no like sudden fixture where it's really, really hard for them. But who knows? Look, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll I'll talk through my team and see what I'm missing and what I'm considering and why I'm picking so-and-so and how me, without a wild card, is going to kind of try and get through all that. So given everything I just said when we were looking at the fixtures, this is what I've ended up with. I know we just talked about it earlier, but first of all, look, I need to make up ground. I've gone quadruple England defence. Will I hold my nerve and stick with that? I don't know, but Kyle Walker, John Stones, Mark Guehi and Pickford. I've got no England attackers. It doesn't look like we're going to score in a month of Sundays, but it doesn't look like we're going to concede either. The only goal we've conceded, as I said, is Denmark from 25 yards, which is a pot shot that was completely, 1 in 100 and it went in. So I'm going to go with quadruple England defence. Now, as I've been saying, we've got to keep in mind the next game because I'm going to have these players going into the quarterfinals. If we get someone we're going to get Italy or Switzerland if we do qualify, if we do get past Slovakia. Do I still want quadruple England defence? Well, yes, actually. I could still see us keeping a clean sheet against Switzerland or Italy. We are a defensive-minded team. We know this. We know Gareth Southgate is more concerned about not conceding than about being expressive and going gun-ho and using all that attacking talent we've got. So at the moment, I've gone with the 3 defenders are Walker, Stones and Guehi, just because that left side is still a bit unsure. Trippier has obviously been playing there, but he's carrying an injury. Will Luke Shaw be back? Doesn't sound like he will, but will Gomez come in there or someone else? So Kyle Walker, you'd think that's not going to change. John Stones and Guehi, they've been decent, been good in fact, so they're going to stay, and Pickford obviously is going to stay. So there you go. Those 4 hopefully will take me through the round of 16. England will qualify with a clean sheet, and take me through the quarterfinal and qualify England again with a clean sheet against Italy or Switzerland. And by then I would have had a few transfers, 3 between the round of 16 and the quarterfinal, and then 4 between the quarterfinal and the semi-final, to be able to kind of maybe change that or maybe tweak that or whatever. But remember, when you get to the semi-final, there's only 4 teams to pick from anyway. So you're going to have to be doubling up, tripling up on defences here and there. So those are my 4 England players. And I'm, at the moment, happy with that concept of just backing the defence and not backing anything else, not backing the strikers, right? In terms of Spain, I've got triple Spain. Now, obviously, they're playing Georgia. The worry with Spain, as I mentioned earlier, and this is the same worry with my 2 Germany assets. Germany, I've got Havertz and Musiala. Spain, I've got Morata up front, Ruiz in midfield currently. That might change to Nico Williams. And then a Carvajal at the back. The worry is, if Germany and Spain get through, they then play each other. So... And then would Germany be the favourite? So should I, instead of having 3 Spain and 2 Germany, should I have 3 Germany and 2 Spain, really, if it's weighted on that side? But I just think that Spain-Georgia fixture is so appealing. I know Georgia have done a plucky job, and I know they beat kind of a rotated Portugal side, but you'd still think Spain could run away with that. Again, remember, Spain haven't conceded a goal all tournament yet, so maybe in fact I need to be doubling up on the Spanish defence rather than having Ruiz and Morata. Maybe I get Carvajal, but I also get a couple more Spanish defenders, or Unai Simon, the keeper. Problem with Unai Simon, the keeper, as I think I mentioned earlier, is he plays the same day as Pickford, so you can't have Pickford and Simon. You couldn't play them both. So at the moment, I've gone for Pickford, but maybe I'll change Pickford for Unai Simon and then keep Verbruggen as my second keeper for Holland later on in the tournament, in the match day rather. Now that, of course, the hard fixture to call in this round of 16, and one that I'm kind of avoiding really, is France-Belgium. I think France will go through. But it's just whether Belgium are going to be able to cause them damage. But I've got one player from the game, which is Mbappe. I just think, as I said, I think I mentioned this earlier, I did, didn't I? You think France are going to go all the way. They're the sort of team that will, and therefore I'm going to have to get Mbappe in at some point. You can't go the whole tournament surely without him. So I'm going to have him for Belgium. You could see him scoring a couple against Belgium, couldn't you? So there you go. Portugal have got Slovenia, massive favourites, Portugal. But again, they're going to be playing the winner of Belgium-France. So you don't want to invest in them too heavily unless you've got a wild card. So I've got Bruno Fernandes and Cancelo. And then who else have I got? Xavi Simons I've got currently for the Netherlands. As I mentioned when we're looking at the fixtures, the Netherlands are a team I do want to back, but they do play on the last day. But you could see them getting through the round of 16 and getting through the quarterfinals. And I need a captaincy option on that day. And currently I've just got Baumgartner and Simons. And Verbruggen, the keeper. But, on the last day, I'm not going to be captaining a keeper. So those are my 3 options for that last day. I do think that the Netherlands will progress. And I do think on the other side of the draw, Austria against Turkey will progress, which is why I've got Simons and Baumgartner and Verbruggen. So the ideal situation for me heading into the quarterfinals is that England have got through with a clean sheet. Spain have got through with a big win, and Morata's contributed and Ruiz has contributed. France beat Belgium. Don't really care what happens, but I've got Mbappe, so maybe an Mbappe goal. Germany beat Denmark. Portugal beat Slovenia and keep a clean sheet because I've got Cancelo. And then on that last day, Holland keep a clean sheet. I got Verbruggen. If Pickford's already got one, I wouldn't have played him, would I? But Simons returns for the Netherlands, and Baumgartner returns for Austria. Now, if all that happened, I probably wouldn't even be able to use my bench because everyone's got points, right? But that is my ideal scenario, and that would leave me in a position when the quarterfinals come round that I'd have 2 Germany players and 3 Spain players playing each other. Not ideal because that means at least 2 players are going out before the semi-finals, right? I'd have 2 Portuguese players and a French player playing each other. That's okay. Maximum 2 are going to go out. Again, you get 3 transfers between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, and then another 4 between the quarterfinals and the semi. So far, I'm pretty covered. An absolute disaster would then be if in the quarterfinal, I go into that still with 4 England defenders, we concede and maybe even go out, then suddenly I've got a massive hole in my squad to fill, haven't I? I've got 4 players who've gone out for England. And whether it's Italy or Switzerland who've then gone through, I've then got to try and get some of them in because I don't have any of them. The teams I don't have, I'm missing out on deliberately are Belgium because they're playing France, as I've mentioned. Italy because they're playing Switzerland, and even Switzerland, I haven't got any of them either because I could see that being pretty even. I think Switzerland, I do think Italy will go through. I think they've just got that big tournament experience and know-how, haven't they? But I can see, I just haven't got Italy. I haven't got Belgium. In fact, let's get the draw back up here. So I've got Spain covered on that left-hand side of the draw. I've got Germany covered. I've got Portugal covered. I've got 1 player from France against Belgium. Happy with that side of the draw. I've backed the teams I think are going to go through. If something freaky happens, then everyone's going to be in the same boat unless you've got a wild card, in which case, well done, wild card keepers. So the left-hand side of the draw, I've got that covered, I feel. Right-hand side of the draw, well, I've got a Holland player. I've got 2 Holland players, the keeper and Simons. I've got an Austria player, Baumgartner. Again, I'm just following the favourites here. I've got 4 England players, all defence against Slovakia. And then just that game that, again, it's the 2 bottom games of each side. France versus Belgium on one side, I'm kind of avoiding. And then Switzerland versus Italy on the bottom side of that right-hand side that I'm kind of avoiding. Maybe, as I said, Switzerland-Italy is actually going to be the game that we see the lineups for at 5 o'clock on the Saturday. It's the first game. So maybe a DeMarco will come in because he's just a certainty that he's starting. You get that extra bonus, don't you, of just knowing for sure they're starting because you see the starting lineup. So maybe I'll make one change and bring 1 player in for that game. Half just because it's fun and then I can watch the game and know I've got someone and kind of cheer them on. But half because, Italy and Switzerland, it's a tasty game. It could be great, couldn't it? I would back Italy over Switzerland though. So there's my team. I'll read through it again. On the pitch, for the start, Morata, Mbappe and Havertz. Midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Ruiz and Musiala. Defence, Carvajal, Walker, Stones, Guehi and Pickford in goal. And then on the bench, ready to come on for Verbruggen, Baumgartner, Simons and Cancelo. Now, with that team currently, I've still got... Have I got money in the bank? I have got 4.5 million in the bank still. So, I mean... I've got money to spend, right? Because remember, we've got 105 million now. So that's why there's that difference. That's why you might be going, how's he still got 4.5? Because we've got 5 million extra. So this team is actually 100.5 million. So I wouldn't have been able to pick this squad at the start of the game. It would have been 0.5 over. Now I can, right? So yeah, I don't know where else I'm going to spend the money. It might be, the possible changes I'm going to be making are, a Havertz out for a Ronaldo. But then I'm back in Portugal too much. What else might I do? A Di Lorenzo coming in for my Cancelo. If I want to weaken my Portugal sort of backing Portugal. Portugal haven't been great, have they? Let's be honest. But no teams have, apart from maybe Spain and Austria have looked pretty good. But I mean, Spain have been the only team that haven't conceded and have looked decent in every game. So yeah, look, this is what I'm at currently. Will it change? Probably will. But here's my team. Why don't you please post in the comments below your team? Tell me what I've missed. Tell me what I need to do. And yeah, good luck. I am hoping to improve my rank significantly during the knockouts. So this is the start of it. That's why I'm going for something big like quadruple England defence. That's where I'm at. Good luck and see you in the next video.